O spinner, weaver of our lives, your loom is love. May we who gather here be empowered by that same love, to weave new patterns of truth and justice into the web of life that is strong, beautiful, and everlasting. Now we like to Chalice. I know that the suspense has been building. Thank you, Katie. Now we have the need for me to tell you that we have announcements. Are there any announcements to make? Of course, I made one about Jessica Lynn's surgery, but that is a concern. I hope everything is okay for her. The reason we found out actually is because Carrie and I were going to go to visit her and her husband because of some health situations we did know about, and take them some lunch and pick up some materials for our help for students. Is somebody else wanting to comment?
Whit.
Oh, okay. Thanks. Sorry, Rick. I forgot you were back there.
Yeah, this is an ongoing announcement. Just a reminder about the Wednesday night discussion group. We're moving along with looking at one or two essays a night. We start at 7:15 after Zen finishes. We are at the church and we're on Zoom, and you can find the Zoom link by Googling Chuck, who puts up the Zoom link. We're going normally from about 7:15 to about 9, and we're having great snacks thanks to Annie at the church. Y'all come, you'll have a great time, you'll have good food, and we're having 5 to 6 people, so we really encourage you to come on out. The essays are varied over a number of different kinds of subjects, and diversity is important, so y'all come. Thank you.
Thanks, Rick. Is someone else having an announcement to make, or am I missing? All right, thanks. I'm going to tell you something. That's the next note on my phone. It's Carrie saying, thank you for volunteering. She knew that if she called me, I'm the guy who hasn't learned yet how to say no. So consequently, that's why I'm here. I think probably Katie's going to let us know if we're online.
We're online.
Great, okay, thanks. On 431 is our opening. We spoke about my needing glasses and hearing aids this morning, I think. Out in the general area. And I've already read it, so consequently, I'm going to spare you and you won't have to hear it again. I think at this point, if there are no more joys and concerns, we go with our speaker for this morning. You ready for it?
Sure.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
I thought there was a step there.
Okay. And I'm not used to standing behind a podium like this, but I know that that's how we have the Zoom set up, so I'll just go ahead and stand still. I kind of move around a lot when I speak. But who in here has heard of Blue Monarch? Awesome. Well, my name is Kate, and I'm the operations director at Blue Monarch. And we are a ministry that is the light at the end of a tunnel. We are an opportunity for women to change their lives. And we are a community of women that are dedicated to breaking destructive cycles like poverty, abuse, and addiction. And we do that through the healing power of the gospel. And so when I pulled in this morning, I saw your sign that said, to question is the answer. And I thought that was so fitting for the work that we do at Blue Monarch. And one of the reasons I think that Tom Bentley suggested, I think he made the suggestion for me to come here and speak to you guys this morning, is because we are not a traditional recovery home. In fact, we do recovery almost exactly opposite of most of the recovery community. And sometimes there's some tension in that because not everybody agrees with the way that we treat addiction or approach recovery, and that's okay. But what I can tell you is that I see women and their children overcome obstacles that should kill them, that they should never overcome, that statistically they should not be in the position they're in after they've overcome these obstacles. But God blows statistics out of the water. And through him and with him, all things are possible. And so in the addiction community, who has heard, if you're an addict, you're always going to be an addict?
I've heard that.
You've heard that, right? And so that is not the model, and that's not what we share. That's not the message behind our program, because we believe that healing is possible. And because we have the mindset that healing is possible and that people are victorious, we have a vision for every family that comes through our doors that's bigger than just getting through the next day. That's bigger than just get a job, pay your bills, just get through life. That's just like white knuckling it. We have a woman that graduated from our program that became a pilot. We have a woman that graduated that became a dental assistant, a medical assistant. They go on to have careers and have families that are successful in the way that they are emotionally and spiritually and physically healthy and sound. Does that make sense? And because we have that mindset, we get to see women overcome incredible things. And so I think that's one of the reasons Tom asked us to come and speak, is just to kind of talk about, so I'm going to talk about what Blue Monarch is and then how we treat recovery. And then I have a video from YouTube that Katie has agreed to share, and then I'll open the floor for questions. And I did not know about that much about the Unitarian Universalist movement. And so when Carrie called and asked me to come and speak, I said, yes, we would love to come and share with your group. But I did ask her, I am unashamedly a lover of Jesus. And my life has been radically transformed by his power and his love. And so I stand before you, a woman that was once addicted that is now free because of the love of God that is so real in my life. And so I said that to Carrie, and she said, yeah, you can talk about Jesus. And I was like, okay. So I hope that that doesn't offend anyone here this morning, because that's just my story. I was a 23-year-old woman in county jail that had never even touched a Bible, and God changed everything for me. And so I live my life not by my own power or strength, but by his power and his strength. So Blue Monarch is a recovery home for women and their children. And we let women go through recovery with their kids because we believe that the whole family needs to recover. So we put just as much emphasis on the child's recovery as we do the mother's recovery. So every child that comes through our threshold, and that's my baby, my precious baby right there. Every child that comes through our threshold gets the richest experience possible because they've been through the darkest of the dark. And I gotta say, when I first started working at Blue Monarch almost 8 years ago, you know, when you're sitting across from a woman that has abused her children and has put her children in situations where they've been abused sexually and physically, that's tough. How do you look across at a woman that's put their children through those circumstances and not feel judgment in your heart? It's tough. But you listen to her story. And when you hear her story and you realize, hey, if I have been through what you have been through, all I can say is me too. So there's no judgment from me to that woman because 90% of the applications that I pull off our fax machine are from women that were sexually abused before the age of 5 and they were taught to use drugs in their own home by a parent or a grandparent. So they were that child. And they're sitting here asking for an opportunity to do something different. Because nobody in their world has done anything different. They don't have an aunt or an uncle or a mom or a dad or a grandparent that has had light in their life. I've had a woman tell me, I can't even think about my future because all I see is darkness. Because that's all they've ever experienced. Trauma, pain, start that over again. Trauma, pain, the same cycle. And so they come to us saying, hey, this is the hard, ugly truth. Things have been tough. Things have been hard. I have done things I'm not proud of, but I'm asking you for a chance to do something different because I want something different. There's something inside of me that says that things can be different, but I don't know how to get there. And they don't have any resources or any help to help them get to that place. So that's where Blue Monarch comes in. But all that work, it all starts in here. Because we believe that if you can heal the root, then you can see good fruit. And so there's a lot of recovery places that are Christ-centered recovery places that we are, that will say, you know, you just need to read the Bible. And yes, I read the Bible every day. I believe that it's complete truth, and I live and walk by its power. But there's also a clinical component to this recovery process, and it's called cognitive behavioral therapy. It's called group therapy. It's called counseling. It's called living in community with people and building that trust with humanity again. And so we are a Christ-centered recovery program that also has a clinical component. We marry both of those, which is one of the reasons I think that we've been so successful is because of the amount of wraparound services that we have for each and every family. So we're a 1 to 2 year program. That's my baby. That I prayed for 7 years. So, yeah. So it's 2 years of healing. We even take them through a work ethics program and we have a small business on site called Out of the Blue Granola where they get to learn hands-on job training. They earn an income that they can put away so that they can save for a car or to pay off fines. We advocate with them through the court system to take care of any legal obligations they might have if they've lost custody of their children. We help them become the happy, healthy, sober mom that God always intended them to be. And then we help them regain custody of their child, and we give them a therapeutic environment for that reunification to take place. Because a lot of the children that we serve are very, very angry, and they have every right to be angry. And so that's why we have play therapy for our kids. We have mentors. We have tutors. I remember a little girl when I first started working there. She came to Blue Monarch and she was in kindergarten. She was halfway through kindergarten, and her name was BB. And she couldn't read, and she didn't know any of her letters. She didn't know any of the letters of the alphabet except for B, because that was her name, BB. And so the kindergarten teacher called, and she said, there's no way she's going to pass kindergarten. And we have this little children's library. And she would come home from school every single day. Her mom would sit with her in the children's library, and she would read to her. And she graduated kindergarten as the most improved student in her class. So families need support from top to bottom in every area: emotional, spiritual, educational, and we just are a holistic program that treats the whole person, that believes that people can be radically victorious, that they don't have to settle, that dream that they had in their heart when they were a little girl, that dream can come true. And so we see women overcome every odd, every single thing set against them, and we see them overcome that with victory. So that is Blue Monarch in a nutshell. I'm going to, or Miss Katie has agreed to play a video for you guys, and then I'll come back up and answer any questions that you might have.
Monarch has a really special approach to recovery, and I think that one of the things that makes Blue Monarch so unique is that we really focus on the child's recovery as much as we do the mom's. And then we also focus on how do moms learn how to parent their children sober, because sometimes it's the first time. We say that we have a wheel of recovery that has lots of spokes. And I think that unfortunately some of those spokes are missing in other programs, but I really feel like it's important that we focus on every single spoke, and that is part of the reason we do see a tremendous amount of healing and recovery and an abundance of miracles.
My life at Blue Monarch has really changed my life since then. My old mommy was not a good mommy, and my new mommy is a very good mommy.
Growing up for me was really hard. All I wanted from my parents was just love and attention, so I started using drugs with my parents just to be around them. The very lowest moments of my life was being in addiction with my parents and things that I've done and had to do for that addiction. Being a mom now to my son, I can see where the unhealthy was. Before I came to Blue Monarch, I was in jail when I found out I was pregnant. And I was at the lowest of my low. I had no idea what I was gonna do. I was gonna give my baby up. I didn't know how to be a mom. I came across the application for Blue Monarch where I applied thinking that there was no way I would be accepted. And I was accepted, and I came to Blue Monarch where I was able to keep my baby and where I have my baby. Thinking back to the time when I found out I was pregnant, sitting in that jail cell, and how I felt when I found out, just almost filled with disgust, to now, in the first time that I laid eyes on my baby, and I was just completely overwhelmed and filled with happiness. I never wanted to be a mom, but now being Zayden's mom is the best thing in the world.
My name is Mallory. I've been at Blue Monarch for 21 months. I have two beautiful children, Lakeland and Ledger. I came to Blue Monarch because I was desperate for something new. Like, I needed change in my life. When I was 15, I started drinking socially and kind of had a hold on me. When I lost custody of my daughter, it was devastating. I thought that I'd failed, and I'd failed her. And I just felt like my life didn't really have a purpose. Like, since I had lost her, like, why try? I wanted to do different, but I didn't know how to get there. I had Ledger on November 19th, 2019, and I wanted different for him than what I was able to give Lakeland. Alcohol definitely tried to steal my motherhood. It had taken everything else from me. My life everything had been taken. So the last thing for it to take from me besides my life would be my children, and it was successful with one, so I wanted to make sure that I didn't repeat that with Ledger. When I first got to Blue Monarch, parenting was really hard. The first time I had parented sober ever, and it was just really stressful, and my anxiety would take me over at times. But I knew that I had to be here. I knew that this is where I belonged. Like, I knew when I laid down at night in that bed at Wood's house that I was where I needed to be, and that I was where God was calling me to be. My relationship with Ledger now is amazing. I love spending time with him. He's my little guy, and I enjoy it, and I don't fear it, and it doesn't stress me out. I mean, there are days, but he doesn't stress me out all the time, and I'm just so proud to be able to teach him all the things that I've learned since being here.
If I didn't come to Blue Monarch, I have no doubt in my mind that I would be dead. What I'm going to do different for Zayden than my parents didn't do for me is I'm going to be an attentive mom. I'm going to be there for him. I'm going to ask him how his day was. I'm going to support him. I'm going to love him. In addiction, I didn't know a God. I never believed in a God. Now, coming to Blue Monarch and just growing my faith every day and seeing the God, our God, and how real he is and how amazing he is. My dream for Zayden is for him to grow up and to be happy and healthy and to learn and be a child of God.
How I feel now is amazing. I feel free, I feel joy, I feel peace, I feel confidence that I didn't think was possible. My relationship with the Lord has grown so much since I've been here. I thought I knew God growing up, but I really didn't. I just was in church and I didn't really know him. And over the past 21 months, I've just really formed an amazing relationship with him, and he is my strength, and he's what's getting me through every day.
Well, when I think about the day that Blue Monarch started in 2003, I feel like my life went from black and white to brilliant color. And because it seems like everything at Blue Monarch is in abundance. Like, we receive blessings in abundance. The women experience healing in abundance. The children experience a life of just a richness that they have never had before. In fact, they've never even had a childhood before they get here. So I feel like everything is extreme. In fact, I remember I wrote a blog post one time about postcard from the land of intensity, and I really feel like it's because once you come onto this property and you are a part of the Blue Monarch program, everything is intense, but that includes every good thing that you could possibly imagine. And so I feel like the same thing happens for the women and the children who come to Blue Monarch, because I feel like they show up with a coloring book that's in black and white, and nothing has been colored. And then while they're here, each one of those little pieces gets colored in. And sometimes it's angry, coloring, sometimes it's outside the lines. But by the time they leave here, it's full of brilliant color. And I feel like, I really just feel like God wants all of us to live a life of abundance. And it's incredible that so many women and children find that here.
I said earlier that I loved y'all's sign to question is the answer, right? Is because I think our approach to recovery is different. Like, we questioned everything. Is somebody always an addict forever? We found no, people can actually be healed. And I know that you, Dick, are from the medical community, and the medical community will say that opioid disorder needs to be treated by medical assisted treatment. And what we have found is that if somebody actually heals from the trauma that a lot of times happens in their childhood, and they really start to see themselves different outside of that lens of shame and fear and rejection, then no, you don't need anything to treat your opioid disorder, because you will be healed of it. And so sometimes that hasn't gone over great. I've had a lot of conversations with many doctors, and what we found is that their goal is to they're trying to keep a heart beating, and we're trying to heal a heart. And so it's both and, because we need the heart to be beating for the women to get to our door so that we can help heal their heart. But our voice and is really just healing from everything, healing from trauma, healing from addiction. So anyways, thank you guys for allowing me to come this morning. I appreciate it so much. I've enjoyed being here. And does anybody have any questions? Okay.
We have a talk back period after the coffee break.
We have a talk. Okay. We take a coffee break and then we talk back. Okay. Oh, great. Okay. That should be fun. All right. Well,
Thanks very much.
thank
We
you.
appreciate your coming.
Yes.
And your comments. Something we need, I do anyway, is that I need your names again.
Our names. My name again?
Yes.
Oh, Kate.
And the family.
Oh, and Ezra and Isaiah.
We appreciate your information. We also appreciate the fact that Ezra had comments for us. So he was like, anyway, I think we're concluded. We have potluck today. I'm not sure what's involved, but we want everybody to join us. The potluck, I know for sure, is going to be some pasta that we brought. So I got up and made it at 5 o'clock this morning. So share it with me if you don't mind. So anyway, thanks again. Our closing hymn is number, I call it a hymn, by the way. I'm an ex-Southern Baptist. Is number 414. Everybody got it? Sing real loud, okay? As we leave this friendly place, love gives light to every face. May the kindness which we learn light our hearts till we return. Anyway, thanks again.